Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bearcat Appreciation Night here at the Arc Arena as your Baruch College women's volleyball team are taking on the St. Joseph College Bears. Anita Sangara getting it started on her senior night.
I'll tell you what, Brian, the Bearcats are definitely being appreciated tonight.
Absolutely. We got special guest DJs and MCs in the house. Arc Arena already off to a good start.
Already electric.
That's usually not an issue, but tonight we got a little bit extra energy.
Coming off a 5-set thriller against Hunter, let's hope the Bearcats can respond with a nice W tonight, Brian.
Absolutely, Jake. It's going to be a free ball from St. Joe's.
Looks like no hitter was ready to swing on that ball.
Here's Sangara. Another easy kill.
Another easy kill for the senior.
Makes it 2-0 Bearcats. Viola Ty will serve.
Cats out to an early lead this set.
Here's Viola serving for the Bearcats. Nice serve. She'll go back row.
Free ball sent over.
Santa's going to set Sangara through the middle.
Oh, and she is 3 for 3 tonight, Brian, I believe.
And Jake, was there a violation there?
I thought Anita might have hit the net, but the ref saw it as the St. Joe's blocker. So that's Baruch point, St. Joe's in the net.
And just like that, the Bearcats jump out to an early 3, make that 4-0 lead with the service ace coming from the line. Quite the start you want to see if you're Coach Kevin Edwards.
Exactly. You want to come out of the gates running, Brian, and that's exactly what the Cats are doing.
Especially coming off a really well-played long 5-set match versus Hunter.
Heartbreaking match, but the fact that it's that close between the 1 and the 2 in the conference is something that you love to see as a volleyball fan and a fan of Baruch.
And that's going to be all some Baruch hands in the front as St. Joseph's gets on the board. Valentina Ergo serving for St. Joe's. Santa's going to set Catherine Chen coming from the outside. That ball's a little bit long, and St. Joe's will maintain possession as they trail 4-2. Excuse me.
Looks like Chen was swinging for high hands there and just missed it, Brian.
Yep. Here's Sangara coming through the middle. Dug by the back row.
And the first swing she
spoke too soon as the ball comes flying into the booth, and Sangara gets her 4th kill of the match, I believe, Jake.
Let's see how the statisticians rule that, Brian. That should be 4 for 4. The setter had you back at the line.
She'll go back row. Dug by St. Joe's. Set to the outside. And that's a kill for the Bears.
Yeah, no one home there for the Bearcats. I think you want your 6th defender to be a little bit more in the center of the back row as opposed to the back right.
Bearcats got off to a good start, but St. Joe's Brooklyn now responding with a little bit of a rally of their own.
Ooh, the jump float.
Santa's going to set Catherine Chen through the middle, and she finds that back row she was looking for.
That's a very unorthodox serve libero for St. Joe's just did. Normally when you jump serve, you don't toss the ball with spin if you're going to jump float it, but that's what she did and had a nice little hybrid serve there, but Bearcat point.
Yeah, Bearcats did a good job of defending that serve as Anita Sangara will drop back. Sent over on 1. Here's Ada Cow. She'll go back row. And that ball's in the bleachers as the Bearcats take a 7-3 lead here in set number 1.
Hey, looks like the libero for St. Joe's wishes she could have that one back, Brian, as she was patting her chest and saying my bad to her teammates.
And here's Sangara. She'll go back row again, this time mishandled by St. Joseph's. And Baruch out to an 8-3 lead. Sangara looking to continue her service run here on Bearcat Appreciation Day.
I believe it's Bearcat Appreciation Night, Brian. Another ace for Sangara.
Here's Sangara once again. Goes same spot in the back row, this time corralled by St. Joseph's.
Free ball over the net. Little miscommunication by the Cats, but they give a nice high outside ball to Ada Cow. Dug by St. Joe's, middle 2 ball.
And that's going to be a point for the Bears.
A lot of Bears in the court tonight, Brian. Bearcats and Bears. It's definitely too early for hibernation season.
Easy to get them confused, too, when we're talking Bearcats and Bears.
Well said, Brian. Another high set to Ada Cal on the outside.
Played by the back row. St. Joe's looking to get it over on 3, unable to do so, and the Bearcats now have a 6-point lead.
Will serve.
Libero serving for Baruch.
She'll go back row.
It's like an overpass. Unblocked by the veteran middle blocker.
Yeah, it looked like St. Joe's wanted to go over on 2 touches there. Stuffed at the net.
Read well by Baruch. That's something they kind of struggled with in the Hunter College match. So it's good to see the girls be able to pick up on that and adjust early.
Absolutely. You saw Hunter go over on 2 a lot and get a lot of points off that. So nice adjustment by the Bearcats. As this ball kept alive, there's going to be a free ball.
Mishandled by the Bears.
Here's Viola coming through the middle.
On a 32. Ooh, the over on 2 dug by Wakey. Another good adjustment by the Bearcats that we didn't see much of against Hunter. Another dig by Wakey. Having a great rally thus far.
Here's Santa. She'll go to Wakey. Bump set. Here's Claudia DePorta coming from the right side.
Oh, and another over on 2 that was read by the Bearcats, Brian. You love to see that adjustment.
Great adjustment. Here's DePorta again. She'll go back row. Kept alive by St. Joe's. Rolling over, and it's going to be a
net violation
St. Joe's
by
point.
Bearcats. Some people in the crowd were asking for a double touch there, but you can't double touch the first contact, Brian.
Dug by the libero. Here's Ada Cow coming from the outside. Off some hands in the front, and that'll do it.
Yeah, it looks like Ada was having a little bit of trouble finding the court when she would swing over the block, Brian, but she got more luck there when she swung through the block and high hands.
Absolutely good adjustment by the sophomore there as Claudia DePorta's on to serve. And kept alive by St. Joe's. Santa sets Viola. Nice one-handed dig by Sengar to keep it alive in the back. St. Joe's coming over on 3. Rolling off the net, kept alive by the Bearcats. Here's Ada Cow, down ball, back row. Doug, sent over on 1, roll shot, and out of bounds.
And a lot of good defense we're seeing out of DePorta, who's a player who normally doesn't play in the back row.
Yeah, it seems that later into the season, Coach Kevin Edwards has really been incorporating DePorta into the defensive rotation and even serving, Jake.
Well, there seems to be a little confusion on the Bears side of the net on who will be serving, but now 22's back at the line.
Dug by the libero. Outside to Ada Cow. Dug by the back row.
Nice high ball to the Bear outside.
St. Joe's goes to the outside, looking for a kill block, double block.
Yeah, a lot of good blocking action tonight by the Baruch middle, V. Kai.
Here's Ada Cow serving. St. Joe's comes through the middle, and they'll get the kill.
Yeah, that off-speed middle 2 ball seems to have a lot of luck for the Bears. It seems like something the Bearcats aren't really used to defending against, Brian. Typically the middle attack is a much quicker ball, but sometimes that high ball throws off the defense.
Kind of catches everyone maybe on the downward part of their jump or just a little bit off balance.
A little bit of an adjustment for the blockers. Let's see if the Bearcats can adjust to that, as they did a good game-to-game adjustment to cover the over on 2. Let's see if they can adjust to a slower St. Joe's College Brooklyn attack.
And that's going to be another point for the Bears, as this first set is a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be early on.
And you love to see that as a volleyball fan, Brian. This is what the fans came to see. Getting their money's worth tonight.
Always some good volleyball action here at the Arc Arena. Here's Anita Sengar coming from the outside. No answer for the St. Joe's Bears.
Yeah, and if I'm Coach Kevin Edwards, I'm telling my girls to keep on running that quick outside ball, because it seems like when they put some pace on it, it's tough for the St. Joe's College Brooklyn block to get there.
Absolutely, and you saw Sengar get her momentum behind that one, and usually that's going to result in a kill.
Yeah, good shoot out of serve receive.
Here's V. She'll go back row to the libero. Sent over with a free ball. Santa will set Catherine Chen coming from the outside, and there's a kill.
And a St. Joe's Brooklyn timeout. We'll be right back.
And we are back here live underway in set number 1. Baruch leading St. Joe's Brooklyn by a score of 15-8. Viola serving for the Bearcats. And she goes back row. Ball might have been going out. A little bit of miscommunication error as St. Joe's plays it, and that'll be a service ace.
And the St. Joe's serve receiver looks over at her coach and says, "My bad, coach, that was going out."
And their lead is now 16-8.
Here's Viola again. She'll go same spot. This time missed by the back row, and that will be another service ace.
Now you could tell that serve receiver was thinking about that ball that went long, so she tried to cheat in short, and then that ball just fell in the back corner.
Let's see if she goes for that same spot. Looking for another back row.
Yeah, looking for the back line again, Brian, but the Bears read that one well, called out, and didn't play it.
Point is awarded to the Bears. Bears trail
Nonetheless, good service run there for the Bearcats as they lead 17-9. Back row attack. Here's Sangara coming through the middle, off some hands at the net, and they're going to call what looks like a
Net violation
Net
on
violation.
the Bears. A lot of net violations by each team, Brian. We didn't see it that much during the Hunter-Baruch match. Let's hope these athletes can shake off whatever jitters they have with them and keep playing some volleyball.
And here's Santa serving for the Bearcats. She'll go back row.
A little miscommunication on who's going to be hitting that ball.
Dug by Wakey, set by Santa to Sangara on the outside. Back row ricocheting off the back wall, and that'll be another kill for the senior.
The point it is now 19-9 in favor of Baruch.
Sangara has been nothing short of efficient tonight, Brian.
Here's Hajeb again. She'll go same spot, back row. St. Joe's looking for a down ball played by the Bearcats. Here's Sangara again, gets some momentum behind it. This time corralled by St. Joe's Brooklyn, and they're going to call a double.
Yeah, you know, what matters with reffing is consistency, and if you're going to call the game tight, which it seems like it will be tonight, all that matters is that you keep calling it tight, as opposed to Tuesday when the refs were letting a little bit of things slide, but that didn't matter because it was sliding for both teams, Brian.
Absolutely. Here's Wakey.
And then the setter sends it over for the Cats.
Again, St. Joe's Brooklyn just looking a little bit out of sync on their communication. Here's DePorta. And that'll do it.
Oh, yeah. Looks like St. Joe's heard some footsteps there and didn't want to go up against that big Baruch block, and the ball fell on their side.
Bearcats still lead at 20-10. We're in set number 1.
I don't know what the call was there, Brian. It looked like Baruch point, but apparently it wasn't.
And they're going to award the point to St. Joseph's. Not exactly sure what the call is there.
Caitlin Bilbo will serve.
Yeah, it looks like some of the players are confused there, too.
See that high jump floater again as Santa backs Sangara. Ball rolling around the net. She'll get another kill as the Bearcats lead by 11 here in set number 1.
Sangara will serve for Baruch. Baruch leading
After the kill, Sangara will serve for the Bearcats.
Definitely the leading scorer this far in the match. Back to her usual form of being team MVP.
She goes the high float serve going back corner, handcuffs the back row, unable to play the second touch, and that'll be service ace for Sangara.
Yeah, put another point in Sangara's column.
She'll go same spot, back row. This time kept alive by St. Joe's after a tough spin in the dig. Here's Sanders. She'll go to Catherine Chen. Coming through the middle, dug by St. Joe's.
You know, and that's such a smart serve by Sangara. If you just had an ace right there, go right back to it if they're not going to make an adjustment.
And here's Ada Cow. She goes back row. Let's see if St. Joe's can hang on. They do not. And that'll be another kill for the sophomore as Sangara will continue her service run.
Good effort by the St. Joe's libero to keep that ball alive, but she's walking with a little bit of a limp in her step. She might have been a little bit hurt on that play, Brian.
We'll keep an eye on that as Sangara goes back row once again. Set through the middle, dumped over on 3. Here's Hajeb. Pipe attack Sangara, goes back row. Catherine Chen, perfectly timed at the net, and no answer for the Bears as it is set point for the Bearcats, 24-10.
Kat Chen laid the hammer down on that ball, Brian.
You've been seeing a lot of really good swinging out of Catherine Chen throughout the course of this season. A lot of improvement.
Well, it's so important for her to develop as a hitter, as she was primarily a setter in previous seasons for the Bearcats.
Here's a down ball from St. Joe's. Back set to DePorta. Off some St. Joe's hands, and that'll do it as the Bearcats take set number 1 by a score of 25-10. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stay with us.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game. Change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University of New York. Be exceptional.
We are back here live for set number 2.
And an early substitution, Brian, before the first serve even happened. Must have been a roster error when the coach submitted it, so she throws the sub in before the game starts. Don't see that very often, but you just saw it here, folks.
That is dug by the back row.
Ooh, and a back 2 ball. There's a little miscommunication by the players there for the Bears.
Number 2 is underway. The Bearcats strike first and lead 1-0.
Typically the back 2 is pushed out more to the pin, Brian. You very rarely see it in the middle of the court.
That's a great point. And that ball is just kind of sent over on one.
Oh, yeah. Kind of caught.
On the dig and caught the Bearcats sleeping there.
Yeah.
A little bit out of position. And
Viola's had a very attentive game out of the middle. It's kind of surprising to see that ball fall on her because she's been very good thus far.
And that's a very high float serve as DePorta sends it over.
Ooh, somehow kept alive.
Santa will set Viola through the middle. Dug by the back row. Punched. Sent over on 3. Dug by Singara. Set to Viola through the middle. Off some hands in the back row. And that'll be a kill.
And that's how you bounce back from a mental mistake, Brian. Executing the ball.
We're in set number 2. DePorta will serve.
Here's DePorta's serve as she'll go back row. Back set to the right side. DePorta plays it. This ball kept alive by Santa as she goes running to the bleachers, sent over on 3.
Another great dig by a player who historically hasn't played in the back row, Brian.
And St. John's will get the better of the Bearcats on that
The Bears even to score
as they tied up 2-2.
Serving will be
But good effort on both sides there, Jake.
Ergo.
Seven back into the game for the Bears.
Nice serve there out of St. Joe's. Here's pipe attack from Sangar. Off some hands in the front. That'll be another kill.
Your Bearcats answer right back and regain the lead. It is now 3-2 in favor
Nice
of
response
Baruch.
there by the Bearcats as they will regain possession.
Ada Cow will serve.
Ada Cow to serve. She'll go back row. Sent over on 2.
Oh, and the setter was in the back row, but she kept her hands below the net, so that was clean.
Nice back set there by Hadjeb to Viola.
And like that, Viola looks alive
It is
again,
now
Brian.
4-2 in favor of Baruch. Ada Cow serving.
Here's Ada Cow again. She'll go back row. Ball in the booth as the Bearcats cannot handle that one.
Don't know if you saw it, folks, but I made an amazing save to keep the broadcasting equipment safe. That's what it's all about.
Showing a lot of heart here tonight, Jake.
I got to keep the integrity of this broadcast. Can't let a lone shanked ball ruin it for the fans at home.
For shout outs to all of our fans across the globe. Here's Sangara, and that'll be another kill.
Baruch Athletics in the CUNY Conference is truly international.
For the Bearcats, it is now 5-3 in favor of Baruch. Viola Tai will serve.
Viola serving for the Bearcats as they lead 5-3 here in set number 2. Here she is. Back row. Dug by the Bearcats. Cross court set to Catherine Chen. She plays it. Good job of keeping that one alive. Here's Sangara coming through the middle, and that'll be a kill.
And the Bears have not been able to stop the Baruch quick attack tonight. Let's hope they can keep this pace on the sets.
St. Joseph's 3.
Really seems to be fooling the St. Joe's block.
Good service run here for Viola. And that'll be another ace.
Also, the Bearcats have had a lot of luck serving to the 5 spot tonight and taking the front row outside out of the game.
Very insightful, Jake.
I have plenty of insights, Brian. Wow.
Perfect serve as it just clears the net. Line drive to the back row. Down ball played by St. Joe's. Kept alive by the Bearcats. This is going to be a free ball from Viola. Keeps it alive.
A little miscommunication there in the initial touch.
And St. Joe's comes through the middle. Ricochets off some Bearcat hands into the bleachers. And they'll get the ball back as they trail 7-4.
In favor of Baruch. Caramello serving.
And that'll be a service error from the Bears.
To the Bearcats.
Claudia DePorta checking back in.
8-4, set 2.
Yeah, and the Bearcats were out of rotation there, Brian, but the refs didn't see it. 6 and 11 were flip-flopped.
Here's Santa. She goes back row. Another down ball from St. Joe's as they go back row. Here's Catherine Chen coming through the middle, and there's a kill.
And that quick offense for the Bearcats have really been shown off tonight.
Stands for the Bearcats. It is now 9-4
And Catherine
in favor
Chen has really done a
of Baruch.
remarkable job over the past few matches of really kind of igniting her offensive attack.
And taking that much pressure off of Anita and the other pins for Baruch, which they're typically run through.
Here's DePorta coming from the right side. Catherine Chen once again times that ball. Santa will set Sangara coming from the outside. Dug by the back row. And that ball is long out of the Bears. The Bearcats get back on the board as they lead 10-4.
The return lane's out of bounds, and the point will go to the Bearcats. Ajit will serve.
Service ace there from Santa.
Good all-around game by the Bearcats thus far, Brian. Solid serving, solid defense, good blocking, and clinical attacking.
Really all phases of the game are firing on all cylinders. That's another service ace.
Oh, yeah, really smart serving tonight from the Bearcats. When they have something go well, they just keep doing that serve, and they force St. Joe's Brooklyn to adapt and adjust, which they haven't been able to do thus far.
Here's St. Joe's Brooklyn as they put that one out of bounds to the right of the pole.
The point will go to the Bearcats. It is now 13.
Point will go to the Bearcats. And
timeout St. Joe's Brooklyn.
Timeout St. Joe's Brooklyn. We'll be back in a few.
And we are back, folks. I'm in the broadcast booth with our production guy, Mateo Flamio, as Brian Flannery had to step out for a moment. Mateo, what do you think of the game thus far tonight?
I think it's going great so far for the Bearcats. Really expecting big things for them going into playoffs, and it looks like they're taking care of business here right now.
Mm-hmm. We love to get Mateo into the broadcast booth. He doesn't normally get to say a lot. What do you think of Tuesday's matchup against the Hunter Hawks, Mateo?
It was a great game. I think it was a preview for what we're going to see in the championship game.
Definitely a preview.
And I think the Bearcats definitely have a strong chance of winning it.
And, you know, after a heartbreaking loss like that, it's so important to bounce back and be aggressive, which is exactly what the Bearcats have done tonight.
Yeah. Great performance out of them. And Brian's back, so I'm going to hand the mic back over to him.
Ooh, and another kill on the back two into the middle. You don't see that very often, but it's working for the Bears tonight.
Bearcats have a 10-point lead here in set number 2.
As number 9 checks in to be the new setter. Claudia Moy, the junior out of Brooklyn, New York.
Dug by the Bearcats libero. Here's Catherine Chen. Tipped over the front row into the campfire, and the Bearcats will strike again as they lead 16-5.
Yeah.
And Segaro will serve.
And Kat Chen's been very, very aggressive tonight. And the fact that she could break out the tip out of nowhere like that really caught the defense off guard.
Here's Anita Sengar to serve for the Bearcats. She goes cross court back row. Down ball from St. Joe's. Back set to DePorta. Looking to reposition her body as she was kind of drifting out of bounds. Coming from that left side, Jake.
Well, yeah, a little tough. Looked like she had to take a couple back steps in her approach, and that kind of tripped her up, Ryan.
And as a righty, you might have some more leeway to kind of play that ball as it's fading out of bounds, but the lefty, she had to completely re-angle her body.
I'm trying not to tear up here, Brian, as the seniors who we're appreciating are getting subbed off the court. For some younger players, Brian, a changing of the guard. Bearcats lead 16-6.
As that's a big serve out of St. Joe's, handled by the Bearcats back row, tipped off the hands in the front. Kept alive by St. Joe's. This one's actually sent over accidentally.
Really good timing by the right side for Baruch to stay on top of that ball.
And they'll go right back to that right side. Catherine Chen finds that 50-50 ball.
Dug by Stella Chung. Another ball to Kat Chen.
And that's another kill by Kat Chen.
She doesn't let you get two options to dig her, Brian. We did that first ball. She's going to make sure she puts the second one away.
Bearcats serving will be
Absolutely.
I think I regained my emotions and I'm ready to return to the regular scheduled broadcast, Brian.
And here's Wei Chang with the float serve. Set through the middle, blocked by the Bearcats. And they're closing in on a second set victory.
The Bearcats have been very aggressive at the net tonight blocking, which is great to see. On Tuesday against Hunter, that was only really true for the Hunters' outside attack, but now the Bearcats have kind of rounded out their whole blocking defense and have been blocking every position on the court tonight.
Yep, ball gets caught up in the rafters. St. Joe's not ready for it, as Bearcats will get another point and lead 19-6.
won by Baruch. Bearcats with the lead.
Ball got lost in the rafters. Chalk that one up to the ground crew, Brian.
Exactly, as here's Wei Chang continuing her service run.
Ooh, a miscommunication as who should send that ball over. Might have been going out, but it was played by the Bearcat defender.
And that's a kill by Ada Cow.
And timeout St. Joe's. Bearcats lead 20-6. We'll be right back.
Lead set number 2.
And we are back underway in set number 2 as Wakey gets the quick service ace coming out of the timeout.
By the Bearcats, Chang serving.
Great job by the Cats to stay aggressive in this game. It's really easy when you step out to a big lead to kind of take a foot off the gas and kind of relax, which clearly hasn't happened here. The Bearcats are still giving the game all they got, up 21-6.
Back set to DePorta. It's returned on one. DePorta goes again, blocked. Bearcats trying to save that one. But good job by St. Joe's middle.
Yeah, the Bearcats need to be a little bit more aggressive on those overpasses. The middle has to go up and attack it.
Nice roll there over the tape. As Ada Cow gets the tool for the Bearcats.
Bearcats maintain a 15-point lead as they step ahead 22-7. Let's see if DePorta can close out the match here. Sorry, close out the set, Brian.
DePorta out of Italy.
Imported.
And that'll be a point for the Bears.
The point going to the Bears. Bearcats still lead. Set number 2 serving will be number 9, Valentina Ergo.
And that serve is too long for the Bears.
Service error will give the Bearcats the point.
St. Joe's commits the service error as the Bearcats are 2 points away from closing out set number 2. Here's Ada Cow to serve. She'll go back row. Sent over on 2 by St. Joe's. There's Viola coming through the middle to the back row. No answer. And that is set point, Jake.
Yes, Brian. Bearcats step ahead with 16 points,
Ada Cow serving.
24-8.
Ada Cow will go back row. St. Joe's able to keep it alive. Sent over on 3. Dog by Cow. Here's a set to Stella as she tips it over the front row. 50-50 ball lands on St. Joe's side, and the Bearcats will take set number 2 by a score of 25-8. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay with us here on Bearcat Appreciation Night.
In New York City, there is a place for people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, where if you work hard, the possibilities are endless. A place to learn, train, and play. In that order, the City University of New York Athletic Conference. This is where it all comes together. Find your people, be a part of a team, and don't just play the game, change the game. Champions aren't born, they're built. The City University.
We are back underway in set number 3 as St. Joe's strikes first.
That's exactly how you bounce back from a 25-8 loss, Brian. You get the first point and create some energy.
First lead 1-0. Tagola serving.
High floater. Free ball from Ada. They go back row. Back set. Off the tape. Kept on St. Joe's side, and Baruch answers.
And the point will go to the Bearcats. We are all even at 1, set number 3.
Let's see if the Cats can string together some points here, Brian.
Or what we like to say, get the Cats rolling.
Yeah, the Cats can start rolling to an early first set lead as they had the past 2 sets.
They go back row.
A little awkward contact by the Bear attacker there.
As they go back row, that ball was definitely going out. This one's kept alive by St. Joe's. Really good effort. Here's Catherine Chen coming through the middle. And that's a net violation on St. Joe's, Brooklyn.
And the Bearcats win the point, take the lead 2-1, set 3.
That ball just snuck through the net there, Brian. Hit the tape and it went around the Baruch College block. 2-2.
And they get the equalizer there.
The equalizer.
Really good serve out of St. Joe's side. Here's Ada Cow.
A nice high swing falls into the court. Baruch leads 3-2.
Bearcats regain the lead. It is now 3-2 in favor of your Bearcats.
Bearcats leading 2-0 here on Bearcat Appreciation Night, where we are honoring 4 of our graduating Bearcats. Nice ball there out of St. Joe's, dug by the Bearcats.
You know, I believe the Bearcats will have a first-round CUNYAC bye based off their record, so I think it's their last match on the home court, Brian.
This might be, as they're going to call a double there. Definitely a clear double.
Yeah, definitely the right call, Brian.
And sometimes you just go to make contact with that ball looking for a back set. Just kind of misplay the spin a little bit, and it's really easy to get caught up in a double.
Yeah, just hit her hands a little awkwardly and came out unclean.
Here's DePorta.
A nice shoot ball right there to bounce back.
Cross-court set to Ada Cow.
Another quick outside set. Looked like Ada wasn't quite ready for it.
Kind of struggled to get that one over.
The setter, Claudia Moy, is putting a lot of good pace on the ball.
And that's going to be back set to DePorta as it's blocked by St. Joe's at the net. Point Bears.
The Bears win the point and take the lead for 3. Bilbo serving.
They go back row to Chung.
Tomahawk to keep the ball alive.
Whatever it takes, Jake, as this one is barely punched over by St. Joe's on 3. Here's Ada. Creates just enough leverage to get it over on the roll. Wakey. Go to Moy. It's Ada Cow. She goes back row. Tip, and no answer for 3 as the Bearcats tie it up 4-piece.
Ada at the line.
She goes back row. Dug by the Bears. Set and dumped over on 3 by St. Joe's. Back set to DePorta. A little bit out of position, but puts a lot behind that ball. Moy will set Stella Chung, and she misses that one. And the Bears take the lead here in set number 3, 5-4.
It looks like that ball caught Chung a little too far off the net for what she wanted.
It is now 5-4 in favor of the Bears.
St. Joe's maintains one of their first leads of the day at 5-4.
Carol Mello serving for the Bears. Ball rolls over. Played by St. Joe's.
Ooh.
There's a high set. St. Joe's was able to get a lot behind that one. Bearcats unable to respond as they take a 2-point lead here in set number 3.
And a little business decision there by the Bearcats, Brian, electing to not dive for the ball and collide and just kind of watch it hit the ground.
That ball kind of handcuffs the back row. Kept alive by the Bearcats. Sent over by Stella Chung. Here's St. Joe's. Tipped at the line. Stella Chung again. Looking for that back line. Unable to get it as that ball is long. And the Bears have their biggest lead of the night as they lead 7-4 here in set number 3.
Ball dug by the setter.
And hit the wrong way by the Bearcats. Just trying to put some skin on it, keep it alive. St. Joe's now with a 4-point lead.
Their largest lead of the night.
And that's going to be a service error out of Mello.
And that's a really good serve. You can hit it, but it's very tough serving from the 5 position, having the ball drop into 4.
Yeah, tough shot to try to execute there.
But when you can hit it effectively, it is almost unstoppable.
And there's a high float serve out of Wei Chang. Played by St. Joe's. Here's a pipe attack from Cal. She'll go back row.
And that ball's going to be out.
Tough set, and that ball is beyond the antennas, unable to be played. And Baruch chipping away at the lead now as they trail 6-8. Back row. Back set, another tough set. This one played by St. Joe's. We set to Stella Chung on the outside. Once again, handled by the Bears. Dumped over on 3.
Ooh, and a little misconnection there.
Yeah, it looked like V and Stella had a little bit of miscommunication error there as far as who was going to send that over.
Yeah, look, the ball fell right in between them. A little too high for the 31 that V was running and a little too short and inside for the outside go ball that Stella Chung wanted.
Here's Stella Chung again, rolling off the net. Kept alive by St. Joe's. This is going to be a free ball. Moy, back set to DePorta. She gets a lot behind that one. Ball caught up in the rafters, this time saved by the Bears.
And that might have been a double.
Dumped over on 3. Questionable double there as V is able to find the campfire, and the Bearcats are climbing back to a 3rd set lead as they trail 7-9. Santa will check back in for the Bearcats as Claudia DePorta will drop back to serve for Baruch. Here's her serve. Nice firm serve going back row. St. Joe's looking to tip it over on 2. Blocked at the net by the Bearcats.
That's definitely something the Bearcats brought into the film room last night and really studied from their loss to Hunter, how to stop the over on 2 dump.
Another good serve out of DePorta. Makes you question why she hasn't been serving for the earlier part of the season.
But you know, next cat up, that's the Baruch philosophy. And
absolutely, we see that with a lot of our volleyball teams, both on the men's and women's side.
Yeah. When number 4's number got called up the line, she was ready, and she's proven it tonight.
Even you saw that with the Hunter match. She did a good job of keeping her spot in the rotation, as just complete miscue error there by the Bearcats.
Yeah,
not much excuse there.
Chung wishes she had that one back. But she probably lost in the lights. There are very bright lights in the Arc Arena.
That is true.
And if you stare directly up at them, it's really easy to lose a high ball.
Almost like a bright sun.
Yeah, it's like a fly ball into the outfield when there's a very high noon sun come baseball season.
And Stella Chung responds to her error with a kill. Good job there.
Your Bearcats from the point now, trail by 2, 11-9, set 3.
Sangara back in the match, looking to sure things up for the Bearcats.
It's definitely a luxury to have a little bit of a lead and give your seniors and specifically starters some rest.
Well, yeah, this late into the season, that's so important.
As playoffs are just right around the corner.
In the NBA, they call that load management.
And Sangara checks back in, and on her first play, records another kill.
And that's what we're used to seeing out of Sangara.
And we'll definitely send a message down to our stat crew to get a total.
Yeah, she would probably be breaking Baruch College records if she had been here all 4 years with the rate that she's been producing at. Already holds the record for most kills in a single match. She might have career-long records if she just had a little bit of a longer career as a Bearcat.
Will serve for the Bears. St. Joe's leads by
Here's
2.
St. Joe's to serve. That one kept in play.
Handled easily by Sangara.
Back set to V. She tips it over. It looked like Anita was open.
Yeah, but you know, that's a very smart set out of Hajeb. It's so important to go back to a player after they made an error, didn't do exactly what they wanted to do, to show them that you have confidence in them.
Of course, and there's Sangara with another kill.
And it also normally catches the defense sleeping because they're not expecting you to go back to the player who just had a misconnection.
Serving is number 1, Viola Tai.
Back set. Sangara, with the odd tip, you don't really see that very often out of her. Back row attack from the setter, but she stayed below the net for the Cats.
And St. Joe's will get the roof, as the bench calls. As they now lead 13-11 here in set number 3. Free ball from Catherine Chen. St. Joe's goes to play it. Nobody there, but great recovery by the middle. Here's Sangara coming through the middle. And you can tell, Jake, when she gets that 2 or 3 feet worth of momentum behind her, there's going to be most likely no answer on the other side of that ball.
Yeah, another kill. And Sangara's putting up very impressive numbers considering her limited action tonight, Brian.
Number 9, Claudia Boyd.
And again, a luxury to be able to rest your starters this late in the season. Make sure everyone's fresh for CUNYAC playoff action.
Because CUNYAC playoffs all happen in the same day. Not many conferences are able to schedule so many matches on the same day, but CUNYAC has that luxury because everyone's within New York City, Brian.
It's a great point, as DePorta will get the kill.
And the good thing about that also for the athletes is they don't have to travel much. They get to spend the night in their own bed, spend the night in their own room, and really feel comfortable going into playoffs. So that's so important.
Yeah, it's a good point, especially for the indoor sports like volleyball and basketball, where everything's pretty centralized. You have one host.
Yeah.
A little bit tougher when you're talking the outdoor sports.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, Baruch will take the lead, 14-13.
Yeah, you know, you might not be playing in your home gym, but at least you get to have the same routine as you were.
That's a great point. And this ball kept alive by the Bears. Back row. Moy will once again set Sangara. And that one is kept alive by St. Joe's. Really good dig. Almost got a point there out of it. Dumped over on 2. Nice dig by Wakey. Moy struggling to recover that one at the net, as she didn't want to record the net violation, and St. Joe's ties it 14 apiece here in set number 3.
Set number 3. Caitlin Bilmo, number 3, will serve.
Seeing a lot of good serves out of St. Joe's, Jake.
Yeah.
Here's Sangara, tipped in the front. It's actually a block.
Yeah, might have been a double by Kat Chen to dig that, but looked like one fluid motion, so the refs aren't going to call it.
Free ball, St. Joe's. High fly ball to Wakey. Back set to DePorta. And that's another kill for the Cats.
Yeah, it looks like one Bear player kicked into the other trying to play it.
We're going back and forth. Bearcats recapture the lead, 15-14, set number 3.
Sangara will drop back to serve for Baruch. They have a 1-point lead. Looking to close in on the match here as they lead 2-0. Baruch making some substitutions here as Stella Chung will check in for the Bearcats. And here's Sangara to serve. She'll go to that same spot in the back row. Tipped off some hands in the front. Kept alive by Baruch. Here's Stella Chung on the attack. And that's a tool.
Bearcats step ahead to a 16-14 lead. In a match where in a set where they've really struggled, it's good to see them take advantage late in this set and push ahead.
Absolutely, Jake. Here's Anita's serve. And just a little bit low into the net.
Yeah, have to wonder if she got a little cold with all that time out.
Carol Mello serving for St. Joe's Brooklyn as she'll go with the floater to Bearcats libero. Pipe attack from Sangara. Dug by the Bears libero, and that'll be another kill.
Baruch wins the point and goes up by 2, 17-15. Serving will be number 2, Jasmine Vidal Ventura.
Number 2 in to serve for the Bearcats. Came up with some very clutch serves in the end of set 1 against Hunter. Let's see if she can do it here.
Another good serve out of Ventura. Blocked. Tipped over the front. Nice dig by DePorta. Keep it alive. Moy will go to Stella, who tips over the front row. Nice recovery there by Baruch, as here's a free ball. St. Joe's sends it to the back row. Dug by the Bearcats. Pipe attack Sangara. Dug by the Bears libero. Here's St. Joe's. Nice shot as they get it over. Baruch able to hang on. Dumped over. See that a lot out of Hunter. Kept alive by the Bearcats. Here's Chung as she looks to put it away. Tipped over the front row. Recovered by St. Joe's. 50-50 ball. And
Blocked
that'll
by
be
the
a Baruch
Bearcats.
point. Block assist. Viola and Stella Chung.
Ventura serving.
This ball kept alive. Free ball.
Dug by Sangara.
Here's Stella as she was kind of on the downward part of her jump, but able just to get enough of that to send it over the front row.
Yeah, mistimed that connection, but still managed to get the kill.
And just like that, the Bearcats are closing in on match point.
Ooh, hits the Bear service receiver a little awkward. Bearcat point. Looks like it's about to be a St. Joe's Brooklyn timeout.
Point goes to the Bearcats. Baruch leads 20-15.
We'll be right
Set
back.
number 3.
And we're back, folks. Bearcats lead 20-15. They've regained control in the third set. I'm joined by Brian B-Flan Flannery.
Jake, it's been an absolute pleasure to call these volleyball games with you this season.
Yeah, sad to see it come to an end, Brian, as this is our last home match on the schedule. What a ride it's been, as the Bearcats who look to improve to 16-6 on the regular season, given a victory in this match. One of the better records in the recent history for the Bearcats. Of course,
we've seen some really great volleyball out of these girls all season. So major props to them and their ability to really come out. And I consider this more of a second-year team. They saw where last year you had a lot of new pieces and everything took time to gel together. But you really see how far the chemistry has come with this team.
Exactly. And the only thing that's outmatched the chemistry and the play of the Bearcats this season has been the announcing and the production by Mateo Flamio.
Back set to Deporta. Kind of rolls off her hands there. She didn't get all of that one, but enough to get a tool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it got the job done. Bearcats lead by 6. Looking to close out with a quick 3 points here.
And just got the paper back from our stat crew, Jake. So Anita Sangara is leading the Bearcats in kills with 16 total.
Impressive given her limited action tonight, Brian.
She hasn't played most of this match, so very impressive there. We're talking about hit percentages at 600.
Oh, wow. Definitely setting a standard for attackers today. Now, if we go to the defensive side of the game, Wei-Ki Chang has had 15 digs and an all-around great effort from the Baruch College libero.
Here's a back set through the middle, off some hands in the front. Nice recovery by Baruch. Sent back to Viola, and there's a kill. Good job really getting that block to start and then put it away with the kill.
I might get emotional here. This is match point. This might be our last point of the season together.
This might be. Let's see if Claudia Deporta can put it away for the Bearcats.
I hope this isn't goodbye, Brian.
Never. Never that. Once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat, Jake. As that'll hold true for our...
And we have another point together, Brian. The dream's kept alive.
Yes, it is. As that'll hold true for our women's volleyball seniors, who this should most likely be their last home match at the Arc Arena. Again, Bearcat Appreciation Night. Thank you all for tuning in with us.
For those of you watching at home, there's 3 games this upcoming weekend. On November 1st, they play Eastern. Then on November 2nd, they play Hartwick and Elmira. Followed by that next week, November 5th is the CUNYAC quarterfinal. And November 8th is the semifinals and final at Hunter.
So definitely keep an eye on the Bearcats, as I'm sure they'll have some road broadcasts or at the very least live stats, so you can track the women's volleyball team as Viola puts it away on Bearcat Appreciation Night, and Baruch takes set number 3 by a score of 25-18.
Thank you for tuning in all season. Go Bearcats. Signing off, Jacob Rudin and Brian Flannery.
Thank you, everyone.